Welcome everybody, this is Jason, and the name of this week's workshop is Forging Your Destiny. This is part 2. If you joined us last week was all about extracting the meshes and building them in Milkshape. And this week we're going to finish up, we're going to build a static object, and then we're going to build recolors for clothing and an accessory and link those in SimPE. So, let's jump right in. The first step, now that we have the meshes exported, what we're going to do is look for the texture. To do that, we need to open the mesh back up in NifScope. Then, in the viewport on the right there, we double click on the subset that we need the texture name for. We double click on the subset. That will show us the node that the texture is stored in. Then we expand the dropdown until we find BS shader texture. That is the actual texture, the actual game file, the DDS that we're looking for. That's something that we would need to open up in Photoshop. And one thing that I forgot to mention, if you are following along at home, I did leave a link in the workshop post for a DDS importer utility. This is a plugin that you would install in Photoshop so that you can open DDS files. Once we have located the location of the texture in NifScope, we need to open that DDS file in Photoshop. So we open it, and if you get this little pop-up here, just make sure that this checkbox is unchecked and click OK. Without modifying anything else, all we need to do is just resize the image to 1024 by 1024 or smaller. And it has to be a binary value. It can be 512 by 512, it can be 1024 by 512, but it always has to be something that SimPE can recognize. We save the file in a format that SimPE can recognize. It can be JPEG, it can be PNG, or it can be BMP. It just can't be the DDS because that SimPE doesn't support DDS. It needs to be something native to The Sims 2. So, building an object mesh. This should be old hat if you followed along on any of my object building workshops, but essentially we just select the correct type of object. In the example that I gave, we're doing a 2x2 deco object, the beehive. So just select that. We clone it. Then we give it the new GUID. We replace the mesh in the GMDC. We replace the TXTR. And if necessary, we tweak the TXMT so that it's not shiny. For clothes are a little bit different. We've already built the mesh. So what we need to do for clothes, we just create a new outfit with the appropriate age, gender. Then we import that project back into the game. And then we use PJSE tool to link the 3IDR to the outfit mesh. We edit the category and the age in GZPS. And if we want to get really fancy, we can use BSOC editor to change the product. For accessories, it's basically the same thing. We clone an accessory. That's the appropriate, like for the appropriate bin location. For example, this is a right hand. It doesn't have to be. We can edit the bin value later, but we create the accessory. We import it back into the game. And then we use PGSE to link the high range 3IDR to the mesh. Those are the 3IDR that correspond to each age and gender. So I think from like 201 to 4001. But we'll get into that. Then we can edit the category and bin values of each of the XMall. Hey folks, full disclaimer. When I was recording the workshop, I don't know what happened. I must have moved or minimized OBS, and for some reason I don't have a quality recording of what I did during the workshop, so I'm going to try to recreate that here. The first step will be to determine where we're getting our texture from. So if you followed along in last week's workshop, in the workshop post, I left the actual game file. And let's crack this open. This is the beehive, the deco beehive that we're going to make. So we can see that, okay, it loads up nicely in NifScope. We select one of these nodes in NifScope, and if you just single click it in the viewport, it's going to highlight green. Then we see the node that's highlighted here. We expand on this. We expand here. And we see a BS shader texture set. That's what we're looking for. Then if you look over in the description here, it says this is located in textures, clutter, beehive, DDS. Okay, that's the beehive. Then we look at the wolf pants. We just open wolf pants 0, just like so. We select the subset, and it points us to this node. We expand on the node. And then we expand. No, it's not here. It's going to be in the lighting shader property set. And then we have the BS shader texture set. That's located in textures, armor, wolf, wolf armor, MDDS. Okay. And we move up to that funky shape shield. Go to meshes. We're looking for the worm aegis. We open that up. We get the weird shield. We double click on this. And we expand until we hit the texture set. Okay, so we already have that texture. It's in the project folder. Okay. So then let's open the beehive. The beehive texture. I have mine stored in a separate project folder for Skyrim, but if you're following along, you might have them in a different location. So we go textures, clutter, and it's right here in the clutter root. It's called beehive. So for this one, because we need the actual texture, I'm going to check the transparency checkbox here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do before we mess with anything else, let's duplicate the base layer. Get rid of the duplicate. We'll grab the magic wand tool. Then we grab the polygonal select tool. And basically what we're doing here is selecting everything except the beehive roof. And there's a method to my madness. I will explain it in just a bit. We just select everything except the beehive roof. select inverse. Okay, and that's going to select just the roof. We go Control C to copy that. And then we create a new document that's 1024 by 1024. And we just paste that in place. Then go ahead and close that up and reopen the same beehive. But this time we're not going to check that checkbox. Okay, we just grab the texture like so. Control C, bounce over here, Control V, and we move this up to the top. We move the beehive roof up to the top. So I got that nice beehive roof with all of the little bits and bobs that go with it as a PNG. So we save a copy. I hate how the new Photoshop does that thing where you have to save it as save a copy instead of just the way that you used to save. So I've already done this. I did this in yesterday's workshop. I'm just going to save right over beehive. Then let's go back to our Skyrim folder. And I'm going to go to my texture masters, textures, armor, wolf, and I need the boots, and I need the armor male. Wolf armor male. Let's pop those open. And if we look at the armor, we can see that that's huge. So we just scale it to 1024 by 1024. Save a copy, and we save it as PNG. We'll call that wolf armor. Okay, that one's done. The boots are already the correct size, so we go Control Shift S, save a copy. We save it as PNG and should be Forging Your Destiny. Wolf armor boots. Okay, so that's done. So for the last one, we open the texture for the shield itself. And we know that it's this one here. Oh, Control Alt I, and it's giant, so we need to scale it back down to 1024 by 1024. Oh, Control Shift S, we save a copy. We go back up to our project folder, and we need this to be a PNG. So we just save it like that. And that's our textures. To build the object, first we're going to go to Object Workshop in SimPE. Then we look for Decorative, we expand Decorative, and we expand Sculpture. And ideally we're looking for something that is 2 by 2. We grab this Maichi sculpture form, we click Next, we clone, and I'm just going to call it Workshop Beehive. Paste the description here, set a price of 100, click Finish, rename the scene graph, we update, click OK, and I'm going to save this in my project folder as Workshop Beehive. Back to plugin view, and we'll start with the GIDs. So I already have my GID thing going. I have a separate web page of all my GIDs. It just saves me time. But sometimes you have to check the file scanner in CMPE just to make sure that you don't have duplicates. Anyway, we grab our first GID, we paste it, we change that one to a 6, commit, select the next one, that one becomes a 7, fourth one becomes an 8, and the last one becomes a 9. And we give it a quick save. Then we go to the GMDC. Let's get rid of that shadow. Now what I want to do here is import the object, but I want to compare it to the original so that we can see if we need to adjust the footprint. So we select the beehive that we exported from the last workshop, and let's just import all of those separately. Give it a preview. And okay, so actually we need to move those back. Not a huge deal. Let's just delete those right quick. We open, and then with all 3 of those selected, we'll go to move, and we're just going to move that -1 on the Z. Oops, wrong way. Let's make it 1 on the Z. There we go. What I want to do is regroup so it's all one group. Then we export once more. Just right over the original beehive. Now we go back, we import, and we see where it is in comparison to the original object. That's right where it needs to be. That's going to have the same footprint as the original object. So then we go to groups, we copy the name of the original subset, we paste that here, and we delete the original group. So all we have remaining is the beehive, but it's going to use the material that's already in the object. We commit, we save, and then we go to the txtr. We don't need the shadow, so we can get rid of that. Let's just replace. We'll go build txt. We open. We grab the beehive PNG. We make sure to change this to dxt3 in the dropdown, and we build. We commit. And then let's check the Chrome txmt. We could delete the shadow because we're not using that. Now we need to make sure that alpha test enabled is set to 1. Blend mode is none. Okay, everything else looks good. And how shiny is this? Remember, this has an environment cube, so we need to make sure that that's toned down all the way down. So see, this is super shiny right now. What I'm going to do is just go 0, 0, 0. And our specularity is pretty low. Our diffuse is pretty low, so it shouldn't be super shiny. Let's give that a quick save. We preview. Looks pretty good. And that's our object. Okay, so to get started on the body shop projects, let's do an outfit first. We need to select the appropriate age and gender, so we go male, everyday, and yeah, I need something with leggings that work with the wolf armor. So those look pretty cool. So I'm just going to export that. And I'm going to go workshop outfit 1. Just like that. We import it back into the game. And then we need an accessory. So we close that there. We go to create accessories. We go to glasses. Okay, fine. Let's go with the helmet. So we export. Call this call it workshop accessory 2. And just like that. So we're all done with body shop. So let's focus on the outfit. Let's open our outfit in workshop outfit 1. So we can see we've got 2 different textures. Body alpha and body. That's just our leggings. So let's not mess with the leggings. Let's go to body alpha. We build DXT. And we go to the workshop. We want the wolf armor. Just like that. Okay, but our issue is that we have an extra subset in this mesh called boots, so we need to add an extra group. We select the GZPS in the resource tree, again in the resource list, and we go down here and we can see our groups. So we need to add one. We go to num overrides. We change that to 3 because it's going to count the total groups. But because it's SimPE, 0 is your first group. So we've got override shape 0, override subset 0, override resource key index 0. Let's go down to the next group. We grab override 1 shape, we add, and then this new line here, we just change it to a 2. Then we grab override 1 subset, we add. So we need to change the number to 2 because this is our third subset, and we rename that as boots. And then we grab override 1 resource key index, add, and just like before, we change that to 2. We commit, and we save. We grab 3IDR in the resource tree first, and in the resource list, then we go tools, PJSC, body mesh tools, linking stage. And we go to saved sims, and we're looking for workshop wolf pants. We save, and now let's relaunch body shop. So once we've added a subset, we go back into body shop and open the clothing that we've created. Now we can see, because the boots subset didn't exist before, the boots is pulling from the the regular body alpha subset. So what we need to do, create a brand new outfit using this template, and let's call it workshop outfit 2. Just like that. Well, maybe not. How about 3? Workshop outfit 3, and we import it back in. Once we have exported the outfit from Body Shop for the second time, let's go ahead and get rid of this first one. We open up outfit 3, and let's have a look. So see the boots, it created a whole new TXTR and TXMT. What we need to do is replace this with the correct boot texture. So we look for Wolf Armor Boots M. We build. Make sure it's DXT3, commit, and save. As a final step, we need to edit BSOC. So we open Williams BSOC editor. I'm using the newest version 2.0. We select the outfit in BSOC editor. This is Maxis, and I'm going to go Barbarian Fantasy subcategory. Now, what's cool about BSOC editor, you can batch edit folders full of files. You don't have to open them one by one in SimPE. But you can also edit some of the other features. I'm going to change the shoe sound to heavy boot, and let's make this available in outerwear and gym clothes as well. And we save it, and the outfit is done. As a final step, let's have a look at the accessory. So we go open, back to our saved sims, and we're looking for workshop accessory 2. Okay, then what we need to do, we need to replace the texture on both subsets. We'll go build DXT, back up to our project folder, we build, and we save. Now let's look at our 3IDR. We sort the instance value lowest to highest. We select 801. This is adult female. We go tools, PJSE, linking stage. Just click OK on the pop-up, and we grab workshop shield. So we just linked that mesh to this accessory. Once again, we go PJSE, linking stage, workshop shield. That's adult male. This is elder female. We do the same thing. This is elder male. This is young adult female. And this is young adult male. Just like that. Give it a quick save. Now, the low range 3IDR, we don't really mess with these. These are the ones that correspond to the banks. That's what we actually see in Create a Sim or Body Shop. We don't mess with those. The only ones that we need to mess with are from 201, which is toddler female, to 402, which is 4002, which is young adult male. And Then we select the XMall. The first XMall, we can see category. So it's available in all of these different categories and bin. So we don't want that. Okay, what I'm going to do, I use my personal bin values for everything. So in this case, this is a shield. It goes to the left hand. I grab this bin value and I replace my bin here. Just commit that. So we're going from helmet to left hand. So we just replace that like so. It needs to be bin. We replace our bin value on all of the XMall. There are 6 different XMall for each different age gender. Okay, now 1327 category value. That's not going to fly because that's for pretty much everything. We don't want the shield to be visible when the sim is in underwear, swimwear, etc. So we need to fix the category value. So we can see this is a cumulative value. So if we want it to appear in all of the categories, it's going to be 137F. If we look at SimPE, it's 1327. So I think that's everything except maternity, I think. But we don't want that. We only want it to be available is in outerwear, gym, and casual. So that's 7. And then if we look down at gym clothes, that's 200. So 200 plus 7 is 207. And then outerwear is 1000. So the correct category for this is going to be 1027. So let's start back up here. So instead of 1327, we're making that 1027. We commit. Then we change the category here. We change it here. We change it here. Change it once more here. And we change it one last time here. So we've added the category on all 6 XMalls. We've added the bin value on all 6 XMalls. We save that. We should be ready to test. We can see we've got our beehive and we've got our dude with his new clothes and his accessory. Let's have a look at that. Let's try to get the camera just like that. Looks pretty cool. Now, one additional thing that we can do to test out the outfit, we have the sim play on the couch. Let's see what that looks like. So he's doing the whole shield overlay, so it's going to look a little weird, but it does take the whole range of motion, just like that. Looks pretty good. So that's pretty much it.